following direction, and it could be something simple as they're running the 3-cone drill. You tell them to touch with their right hand here, touch with their left hand here. You got to be able to think while you play. You don't want a lot of guys just running around there with blank minds, so that's a quality that I look for in players. Can this person think while they're playing? Can they think while they're fatigued? And can they make great decisions?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, also media director for the National Scouting Combine. And as we roll with the AF1 Head Coaching Spotlight Series, today I'm talking to a coach who brings not only fire, discipline, but a true competitive edge to the arena game. We're heading out to Pacific Northwest to talk with the head coach of the Oregon Lightning. Now, this team is built on not only toughness and speed, but they have a rising identity inside the AF1. Coach Chuck Jones joins me today. Coach, really appreciate you. How are things, sir?
Oh, everything is good. I'm good as gold, man. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate it. So let's dive right in, Coach. For fans getting to know the Oregon Lightning, how would you describe the identity of this team?
You know what? That's a good question, man. Because there's so many different identities. We we kind of go with the flow as far as everything goes. But, man, we work really hard, and that's one thing that's really consistent in everything that we do here in Oregon. We work harder than everybody else. We don't have as much, and we still push forward and get it done. We set things in place to make us successful during seasons. And, we're just really, really excited, man. We're excited. So the identity of the team, we work hard. We work hard, the hard workers. How about that?
All right, fair enough. So speaking of the hardworking, Coach, talk to me about some of the non-negotiables that you expect from your players every single day.
Oh, well, first of all, being on time. It's non-negotiable. If you're late, if you're on time, you're late. That's how we say it. You need to be 5 minutes early. I learned that in college, man, playing college football at the University of Kansas. I showed up to a meeting. I was the last guy there, and I had to go and run because of that. And I was like, hey, well, I got here on time. He said, no, you need to be on Jayhawk time. You need to be 5 minutes early. So that's one of my big things, man, being on time, be early, because some guys don't take other people's time into consideration. It's the time to get stuff done. And if we got it set in stone, you definitely have to show up on time. You definitely have to work hard. Working hard is not an option. If everybody's running as hard as they can and you got one person who isn't, just because they may think they're a star or whatever, then they don't have a place here. I don't care how many touchdowns you catch or how many passes you throw or touchdowns you throw. I mean, we work hard and you got to fit in. So that's a really big thing.
All right. So speaking of that, when you've got veterans, but you've also got developing new talent, how do you balance that out?
The veterans are going to teach the kids. The veterans need to teach the kids. That's what I say, man. So I just have a stern meeting with them because these young guys are going to watch the veterans. If you let the veterans get away with anything, the young guys are going to think they could get away with anything, and then you have a bad culture. And we're not doing that here. So I have a talk with the captains, all right, and they just set out the rule. They set the expectation for everybody and what it's going to be, and they need to work harder than everybody else so everybody follows that suit.
Tens of millions of tickets.
Tens of millions of tickets.
Tens of millions of tickets.
Thank you, VetTix. Thank you.
Thank you, First Tix.
Thank you, VetTix and First Tix.
Thanks to your support, the nonprofits VetTix and First Tix have given away tens of millions of tickets and counting to vets currently serving military, the immediate family of troops killed in action, and our brave, current, and former first responders. These tickets are a meaningful way to say thank you to America's heroes and help them re-engage with American life by giving them free, fun experiences and new happy memories that'll last a lifetime. And now, we want you to be part of the mission. Got extra tickets to concerts, games, or special events? Or want to see if you qualify? We want you to go to vettix.org and firsttix.org today. Give something to those who gave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the Sports Arena National Scouting Combine. Alongside the Oregon Lightning head coach, Mr. Chuck Jones, joining me. So, Coach, let's talk about the partnership that exists between the AF1 and the National Scouting Combine. As someone who is going to get first look at these athletes as they prepare to basically impress you and try to earn a spot on your roster, talk to me about some of the traits that you look for in a player.
Following direction, and it could be something simple as they're running the 3-cone drill. You tell them to touch with their right hand here, touch with their left hand here. You got to be able to think while you play. You don't want a lot of guys just running around there with blank minds, so that's a quality that I look for in players. Can this person think while they're playing? Can they think while they're fatigued? And can they make great decisions? And then I also just look for work ethic. I'm looking for the guy that wants to work harder than everyone else, because that's the guy who really wants it. You got some guys that go with the flow, but then you got some guys who are overachievers. I like the overachievers. I like the guys that don't look at themselves as like looking funny because they're going way harder than everybody else or caring what anybody else thinks when they're there to take a contract. So I want that guy. The guy that stands out to me the most is the underdog, really.
So when you look at arena football, particularly in the AF1, what do you think sometimes fans often maybe misunderstand or overlook when it comes to the game or when it comes to the AF1 as a whole?
Well, I think people overlook how hard it is to get the timing on these small fields. It's like playing football on a postage stamp, right? So, the timing, the practice that it takes to prepare, all the scheming that you have to do, that stuff is hard work. It truly is hard work. And then, as far as the AF1, we're waiting to see this thing come back into its glory, and it's going to. There's a lot of different leagues out there to choose from to watch indoor football, but it's all about the quality, and it's all about the nets. AF1 arena football, period, was built on the nets. If you don't got the nets, you don't got arena football to me. You got a version of it, and I just think that people need to just look at how hard we're working behind the scenes to put out a great product and put that out there to the public and make it accessible for people to be able to tune in.
Talk to me about the community aspect, Coach. What is the Oregon Lightning? What is that organization under your leadership? What are you doing to really embrace the community, but also empower them as well?
Well, we started a nonprofit called the Oregon Lightning Youth Initiative, where we have a lot of our players are going to be mentors of sorts. We're going to do after-school program, anything in that community that can help these young kids is where it's at. With the Oregon Lightning Youth Initiative, we're going to run our players through there, so that way, they have jobs while they're here. They can show up to schools. They could talk to kids, read books to the kids in the library, do charity work, things like that. And it's all going to be funded through the Oregon Lightning Youth Initiative. And that way we're putting our players out in the community. The way that we built our roster this year, most of our players graduated from college with a higher degree, which puts them in a perfect position to be able to go out here and tell a kid who's having a hard time that it's going to be okay, that they can make it through. A lot of these guys come from tough situations. So being able to bless the community with our experiences in tough situations and blessing these kids to help them make it out of theirs is going to be a great way to give back to the community. And that's what we're doing here specifically.
All right, Coach, my last question, and thank you so much for being a part of this. What should fans of the Oregon Lightning and AF1 fans in general, what should they be excited about this season?
Man, it's a lot to be excited about. Expansion teams. So there's more locations on the maps. We get to go and play and compete. National broadcasting deal when that comes. We're very accessible. You can see us, which is another great thing, because some of these games you can't watch, but you can also see us with quality. You could expect a quality product on the field at every market. And then you could expect a quality production. We want to put something out there to be proud of and to make our people proud of, and that's good enough for people to watch and have a good time.
Coach Jones, man, first off, thank you so much for joining me and giving us a deeper look at the Oregon Lightning. Again, it's coaches like you who have the culture and, most importantly, the vision to build within that organization. I mean, your insight really highlighted the partnership between the AF1 and the National Scouting Combine. You know, connecting talent, connecting those dogs and hungry athletes, the coaches like you who are building real opportunities at that professional level. So thank you so much for that, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. No, we take the hard workers. There's definitely an opportunity, you know. And I like to tell all the young men that chase your dream. Go to one of these combines. Put your talent out there. Show us what you got. Somebody will give you a contract and you can go and prove it.
Awesome. Coach, I look forward to seeing you in January down in Naples, Florida at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex. Thank you again, sir.
All right. See you then. You have a good one. Stay blessed. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Thank you, Coach. All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, just another example of not only giving, but also receiving those opportunities. This is why it is so important when I tell the athletes who come to the National Scouting Combine, you need to show up and show out. Because from the time you show up in Naples, Florida, at the Paradise Coast Sports Complex, at the Great Wolf Lodge, you are basically auditioning for your shot, for your opportunity. Everything that happens over that week is going to be looked at. Not just running your 40, not just your bench press, not just what you do in the drills, not just what you do in the showcase. Every little attention to detail is going to matter. That is why it is pivotal. That is why it is so important. And that is why it is necessary. If you are an athlete, I don't care if you're a D2, D3, HBCU, NI, NAIA, coming to this event is going to open doors for you. But you have to walk through them doors and be ready to accept the blessing that potentially comes your way.